Browns. We've been talking about the training camp preview again. G. Bush will be at camp tomorrow. So if you guys are posted up, I'll be on Ultimate 216 afterwards, giving you all the updates and thoughts from camp. And we will be going live on the Barbershop and UCS simulcasting, talking about whatever we saw and how we got down. Make sure you make an appointment to get ready for that. Training camp is on the way, and it's time to get it going. 3 solid ways to define success in 2025 from the Cleveland Browns. And we start by, first and foremost, finding a quarterback. If you can find a franchise quarterback and you could come away with some of the feelings that the New England Patriots had with Drake May, you could come away with the feeling they have in Jaden Daniels. You could come away with feeling like you have a guy that the majority of the fan base can get behind. The coaching staff and the general manager can get behind. And the city can get behind. You've done yourself, you've done what you needed to do. You've completed the first piece of the puzzle. Because if you find the quarterback, think about this. If you could come away feeling so good that all 3 of those people check the box as a franchise quarterback, because you know it when you see it, you then can probably check mark and check the box that you have the general manager as well as the head coach and the owner. Does it not? Does it not? Both picks for the Cleveland Browns, and I keep it open. You know how I feel about Shedeur Sanders, but listen, I keep it open. We're going to see tomorrow. Don't care what I think. We're going to see tomorrow. Everybody got an opportunity to show and prove. But if you do get a pick, nobody said Dylan Gabriel was a third-round pick. People was confused when they drafted him in the third round. They said, hold on. He's not on nobody else's board like that. What's going on? If he turns out to be a franchise quarterback, the Cleveland Browns brass looks like geniuses, don't they? Because nobody else had that. If Shedeur Sanders turns out to be the franchise quarterback in the 5th round, this is the steal of the century. You not only erased Deshaun Watson's $230 guaranteed $1 million, you found a quarterback in the 5th round. 5th? Come on. And you're paying them pennies on the dollar, both of them? If you get that off, that is the biggest heist in the world. And guess what? Everybody that said, well, guess what? That wasn't Andrew Berry or Kevin Stefanski's pick. That was Jimmy Haslam. If Jimmy Haslam finds a franchise quarterback because he told him in the middle of the night, go draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round, trade up to go get him, Jimmy Haslam looks like a genius, does he not? Andrew Berry looks like a genius for drafting him. And if Kevin Stefanski has him looking like a franchise quarterback because he's coaching and calling a play style that's conducive to him winning and the team winning, and you seeing those traits as a franchise quarterback, guess what? You feel good all the way around about everybody now, don't you? That's the first way you can find out whether you have success without winning the Super Bowl. Second thing is, it alludes to what I was saying before. Outpace expectations. And what are those expectations? If you get 7, 8, 9 wins in this division, and even if you don't got a franchise quarterback and you don't find one, but your teams are playing up to standard, your team is, you go back to the way you want to play, and you're not beating yourselves, and you're playing hard every single week, and it's a team that you can get behind, and it's fun to watch because they play their tails off. They don't commit penalties. They're a team that represents the city. We can get behind that. We understand that you ain't got no receiver besides Jerry Jeudy. We understand that. But if you can get guys that are doing something, and Myles Garrett comes back out and he plays every single game, he playing hard, and that defense looks like defense we saw before, we ready to go, ain't we? People can get behind that. People get behind a team that want to play hard and it's going to outpace expectations. People can do that, right? Because we know that you kept the locker room, Your veterans didn't lose the locker room. They played hard until the end, and you didn't have really a quarterback. You don't have skill positions. You might be without Quinshawn Judkins for the first 6 weeks of the season. You understand there might be some injuries here or there. But if you give me 7, 8, 9 wins, and people is like, listen, we don't want to play the Cleveland Browns. Their style of play is rugged. They will fight you tooth and nail. They ain't gonna beat themselves. And when you play the Cleveland Browns, get ready for that ice tub. They're physical, well coached, and they're not taking no shorts. You can't come in and punk the Cleveland Browns. You're not gonna beat them down and intimidate them, and they're gonna bring that hat every week. We can win with that. The fans will take that. The people will take that. And the final way is, if Andrew Berry looks like he done hit on something and he finally paying dividends. Because we ain't talked about Andrew Berry. He's the guy that has to prove to many the most off bat. Hey, Andrew, can we look at this roster and say, look, he won 5, 6 games. But look at Harold Fanning Jr. He looked like one of the best tight ends in the game. Dang, you see, look, Dylan Sampson. Good gracious, he might be offensive rookie of the year. Did you see what Shedeur did? He out here throwing dimes. If you hit on DeJuan Jones is one of the best tackles in the league according to PFF. Mason Graham got 6, 7 sacks this year. Mike Hall Jr. They can't block him one-on-one. Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire is balling. Hey, Carson Schlesinger. He's in the top 5 in tackles, leading the league in tackles. The youth movement. Zach Zenner steps up when Wyatt Teller goes down and looks like he's a viable option to take either a position at left or right guard. Right? Jack Conklin has another bounce back year. So now that move that you had where you gave him that money looks like a smart move. Hey, Jamari Thrash is catching the football. Deontay Johnson ain't even on the field. We got Jamari Thrash playing ball. Hey, listen. Cedric Tillman finally put it together this year. If you get a youth movement and the Browns look like a team that next year they are putting on the stamp, the Cleveland Browns were an exciting football team this year. They found a franchise quarterback. They look like they got a couple of young receivers that's going to do something, a stable of young backs and a good offensive left tackle that's going to anchor it for the future, and a defense that was emerging last year with some new guys. Cleveland Browns got 2 first-round picks next year. They're going to use those to bolster other positions. Now we talking about something. Now we talking about something we can get behind and get excited about. We can put our arms around something like that because now the future looks bright because the Browns got old overnight. Browns got old overnight, man. Listen, we just talked about it years ago how once upon a time we saw about Denzel Ward and Nick Chubb and Baker Mayfield being the young guys. We had Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis coming and bring that veteran. J.O.K. was a young guy that was coming. This is how life comes at you fast in the NFL. Just as old as they got, if you hit on your draft picks and you go with the youth movement and you look like you got some guys that are impact players, we can call that successful and not go to the Super Bowl. Those are the 3 ways that I define success without winning the Super Bowl. And as always, you know what we do over here in the Barbershop. You know what we do in Ultimate Browns. We got to keep it real. This football season, let's lock in. Let's tap in. Let's get back to, listen, we ain't doing no more narratives conversations. Because guess what? Anything, I can't make it up. Aditi can't make it up. Mary Kay can't make it. Jason Lloyd, Jay Crawford, Mikey McNuggets, Anthony, Earl the Pearl, Tyvis. It don't matter what nobody is saying. Tomorrow we get to find out. And that's the best part about football. We're going to find out what it is. With that being